Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tank Be Chopping, and I'm back with another haircut tutorial. Alright guys, what we're gonna be doing on this cut is a slight trim on top. As you can see, my client has, a long fro going. He's got the curls going, so we're gonna be doing a slight trim and then a low taper. Let's get it. Alright, so what I'm doing here, guys, I'm actually saturating my client's hair. I'm using a product called the Potion from my boy Sit Cuts, and what it is it helps detangle the hair a little bit. So a lot of times when it comes to cutting curly hair, it's hard for me to cut it with the shears due to it wanting to curl up. So I put this potion in it, and it helps me comb the hair out. That way I can make sure it's a nice even length. So as you can see, what I'm doing here, guys, I'm pulling the hair up and I'm setting in my first initial guideline coming forward, and I'm following that guideline all the way forward. And then y'all know how your boy does it. I'm gonna start setting in my guidelines coming the opposite way, moving backwards, and just using that initial guideline to make sure I cut anything longer than that. And even though this potion looks kind of soapy, trust me, it's not soapy, guys. Like normally it doesn't get like this, but I put a good amount in my client's hair just to make sure it was easy for me to comb through. And yeah, that's what I do when I have clients who have curls on top or have a curly hair, a curly head like this, and want me to trim it and not necessarily freehand if they want shear work. And as you can see, we're just moving our way all the way over, trimming the sides down also, but at the same time, we're still using that same guideline that we used initially, just all the way over, and we followed it all the way to the sides. And now what I'm doing is I'm trimming the opposite side, guys, coming back with it. And everything that's longer than that initial guideline, I'm making sure that I'm cutting off. Alright, now I got my Gold FX blow dryer from Babyliss, and what I'm doing here is just blow drying my client's hair. You know what I'm saying? I want to have it all nice and dry. That way it's not wet while I'm cutting it. And now we're gonna go ahead and start our low taper. So I'm taking my custom Babyliss FX trimmers, and I'm setting in my my initial bald guideline in a rainbow-like shape, and I'm not going too high. Like I said, guys, we are doing a low taper, so you don't want to come too high with it. You want to keep it nice and low, and at the same time, I'm still keeping that rainbow-like shape. That way I keep that shape through the whole fade. And now what I'm doing is I'm lining up my client behind the ear, just because I have the trimmers in my hand, and it's gonna make it easier for me to do it now than to wait to the end of the haircut. And then I'm doing the same thing with a C-cup. I'm just giving them a rough drafted line. That way I can actually see, where the fade needs to be placed. Alright, so now that that is done, I'm taking my custom Babyliss shaver and knocking all that down to skin. And now I'm going in with my clipper with the lever all the way open. And I'm gonna be coming up about ½ an inch or so, not too much. Once again, guys, we are doing a low taper, so we wanna make sure we keep this taper low. So I'm only coming up about ½ an inch and ½ an inch or so. And I'm being really consistent with it, going over it a couple times, making sure it's all down to that desired length. And then I close my lever halfway, and I'm coming halfway into that section. And now my lever is all the way closed, and I'm attacking that bottom line. And this may not get that line out completely, and that's totally fine, guys. I can come back and hit that bottom line with the trimmer if needed. Alright, so now I'm going in with my number 1 guard, lever all the way open. And we're coming up another section. Same thing, guys. We're coming up about ½ an inch to ½ an inch, using more of a flick out motion. And the reason why we're using more of a flick out motion, guys, is he has a lot of hair to fade into. We don't want to leave any harsh lines, and we don't want to make this harder on ourselves than we have to. So that's the reason why I'm using a flick out motion, or more of a flick out motion than normal. And then I closed my lever, and I came right below that. And then as you can see here, I'm just adjusting my lever, getting rid of some dark areas that I see. Now I'm going in with my 1.5 guard, lever all the way open. Same thing, coming up about ½ an inch or so, using a good flick out motion, making sure I don't leave any harsh lines. And as you can see, I'm continuously combing that hair down, because when you're cutting longer hair like this, it wants to curl up. So you want to make sure you keep combing it down. That way you can actually see exactly what you're doing. Now I'm taking my number 4 guard, debulking this tapered area. And now I'm going in with my number 3 guard right below what I did with my number 4 guard. Right below, yeah, that's what I said that right. Going right below what I did with the number 4 guard with my number 3 now. And I have my lever closed, just flicking at this line, getting rid of these dark areas, really trying to make the blend into this bulk on top. Now this is my 2 guard lever open, coming right below what I did with my number 3 guard. So basically what I'm doing, guys, is I'm doing some down fading. I guess you can call this sandwiching the blend, because I started going up and now I'm coming backwards, fading down, trying to get this blend in a nice position. And once again, this is my 2 open and then closed, and now I'm going in with my 1.5 guard. And as you can see, this blend is coming together better. The blend looks a lot better going in with my this is my 1 guard now, lever all the way open. And I'm just cleaning up some of these discrepancies that I see. And once again, guys, you know how your boy does it. I'm gonna finish this blend, line him up, and then I'm gonna go back and detail it to make sure it's on point. This is my 0 guard. Doing some slight lever play, just getting that blend to come together. And now I'm going back in with my lever open, and I'm gonna adjust that lever as needed to try to get this blend to come together, to fade into that stubble that we have at the bottom. And as you can see, there's a slight line there. I'm gonna have to use my trimmer to get that out. And that's what I'm doing now. So now I'm just touching up that C cup a little bit, because I did do a rough draft earlier, but you know, I want to go in and make sure that it's super sharp and as nice as we can get it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and line up my client's front lineup. And y'all know how I do it. I like to start off in the middle of my client's hairline, set in my first initial guideline, and then work my way over into that vertical bar. Alright, so now that the lineup is there, I'm gonna go back in. I'm gonna use whatever guards I feel are needed to detail it. So I started off with my 1.5 guard. Now I'm going in with just my clipper, no guard, 1.5 guard again, 1 guard. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna be switching through guards to make sure that this blend really comes together. And as you can see, the blend is looking better here. You know, it almost looks 100% done. I'm still gonna hit them with a little bit of enhancements to make this lineup pop. But as you can see, that blend is really coming together. And now we're moving on to the opposite side, doing the same thing, guys. I'm setting in the edge up behind the ear, gonna set in my first initial bald guideline. Remember, guys, we're keeping it low, rainbow like shape. And then I'm gonna follow this with my trimmer, with my shaver. I'm gonna hit up this C cup first, and then I'm gonna hit this bald area with that shaver. Now what I'm doing here, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and debulk this area first with my number 4. So steps are slightly different from what I did on the opposite side, but basically the same thing. So I started off with the 4. Now this is my number 3 guard, debulking. Now I'm going in with my lever all the way open, no guard on my clipper, setting in my next guideline, and then I'm gonna try to fade out that bottom guideline. Here is my number 1 guard, lever open, set in that guideline, try to blend it out. 1.5 guard open, then closed. Here is my 0 guard. And as y'all can see, guys, this blend is coming together. I've told y'all before that I try to do the same exact steps, but sometimes when I'm on the opposite side, I just go into like autopilot mode and I just start cutting, not really paying attention to what I'm doing. Gotta speed up the process a little bit. And that's basically what happened on this side. But y'all gonna see this taper really came together. As y'all can see here, I'm just lining up the opposite side of my client's head, making sure this lineup really comes together and is nice and straight. And then from here, we're gonna detail this side of the haircut a little bit, and then we're gonna move on to the back. And as you can see, this side of the blend, it came together a little quicker and a little easier than the opposite side. And that happens sometimes, guys. It's not gonna be the same exact, it's not gonna be as easy or as hard on both sides of the haircut. Sometimes one side will be easier, sometimes one side will be harder, but you just gotta be able to work through it and try your best to make both sides look the same. So now we're moving on to the back. Decided to do this a little different. Going in with my clipper, lever open, setting in a guideline, and then I'm going in with my lever all the way closed, right below that, fading into that clipper open. Now I'm gonna just attack the bottom of this taper with that shaver. And now I'm gonna follow the other steps that I did. So basically this is my number 1 guard, lever open, setting in my next guideline, and I'm gonna try to, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna fade this down all the way to my lever close. And then I'm gonna put in my 0 guard, get rid of this bottom line since I'm already there. 1.5 guard. And as you can see, I'm just flicking and floating this clipper, really trying to make sure it fades without doing too much work. And we're just basically trying to get this blend to come together, guys. I'm not 100% sure if this is my number 3 or my number 2 guard. I want to say it's my number 3, but once again, not 100% sure. But if you do the same steps on the back that you do on the sides, you'll get the same look, you know what I'm saying? Once again, sometimes I just go in autopilot mode and start cutting, and I don't really like pay attention to what I'm doing. So that's basically what happened here, but you can try to follow along. Just pay attention to how I'm using the corners of my blade when it comes to really detailing and trying to get into tighter areas. Pay attention to how I'm floating my lever up and away, especially with this texture of hair. You don't want to create a harsher line than you need to. You want to make sure that you make that line as easy as you can to fade out. And now what I'm doing is just freehanding this back area a little bit, making sure it's nice and blended and just, you know, looks nice all put together. And we are going to add some enhancements on my client's lineup. As you can see, I'm not putting too much to make these lines look fake. I'm just putting just enough to make these lines pop and to look nice. Now we're going over everything we did with the trimmer. You know what I'm saying? This lineup, we're trying to make it really pop, really make these lines super sharp, and that's what I'm doing here, guys. If y'all are interested in the tools that I use, I was using my custom FX set. You can download the CustomFX app. You can make your own set, guys. You can use my discount code TANK10, save yourself a little bit of money on that. And remember, guys, you can make the trimmer, the clipper, and the shaver. Use my discount code. It'll save you a good amount of money. But yeah, nonetheless, guys, I'm going over my client's edge up with the razor, making sure everything is nice and sharp. Alright, guys, so check it out. This is the before look. This is how my client came into the shop looking. And this is the after. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this haircut in the comment section. If y'all like this video, please make sure to smash that like button. Also, if new to my channel, make sure and subscribe one time for your boy. Remember, guys, if you're in the Houston, Texas area and you want a haircut from your boy, you can go to my website, tankbchopping.com. You can make an appointment there. If you want it to be for YouTube, make sure you put that in the comment section, and I'll make sure to try to record it for YouTube. But other than that, guys, that's basically it. I appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time, let's go.